Hello, my name is Sean Velasco, and I'm the designer and director on Shovel Knight for Yacht Club Games.
Okay, so now you're playing Shovel Knight.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, well, we can get going right now.
Okay.
Well, this is the first level. This is the plains. Yeah, so we can just walk through it, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is the basics of gameplay. This is Shovel Knight, and when we were developing this game, we wanted to make a game that was based around one singular mechanic. You know, something that was simple, something that was understandable. And so we decided, you know, on the shovel, because you can only do a couple of things. You can dig, you know, you can jump. And then, when you're in the air, you can press down to do a down thrust and destroy enemies, right?
Just like in DuckTales.
Yeah. Well, actually, I would say our biggest inspiration was Zelda 2.
Yeah.
You know, the combat in Zelda 2 feels so wonderful and weighty. You know, we wanted to create something that had a little bit of that same feel. You know, the back and forth of combat. But we don't do a bit of heavy combat until later. Right now, it's just kind of learning the basics.
So we see you're getting diamonds or jewelry.
Yes.
Does it have any purpose?
Yeah, of course.
For sure it has.
Yeah. I mean, Shovel Knight, in this game, it's all about digging up treasure. And you use all that treasure later on in the game to do a lot of things. You can purchase more life. You can purchase more magic for yourself. There are items that you can buy besides just your shovel. And then on top of that, you can get new armor sets. You can upgrade the shovel that you have. So, I mean, there are a lot of reasons for you to be using the money. And so we wanted to make it that you would go out on a limb to get it, and it would be important for you, you know, that maybe your greed would that maybe your greed would entice you.
Okay, we see a mini boss, I think.
Yes, yeah. So this is you know, once again, this is a simple mini boss, this bubble dragon. We thought, we have bubbles and we have dragons, why don't we put the two together for the boss? So you can bounce on his head, and if you bounce on this part, it doesn't work. So once again, we're trying to teach how to play the game through the level design and through the design of the game. We're not big on tutorials, and we're not big on unnecessary text, or kind of unnecessary gameplay elements in general. We wanted to boil it down, to the basics of what's fun and what's interesting, and every room is like a puzzle to solve. So like here, it's once again, this may be a little group basically saying, hey, this seems like a project that is really cool, and we love, I love Mega Man, and maybe instead of giving a big contribution to the Kickstarter, we could hook you up with Manami Matsumae, and she would be willing, she'd be willing to do something. And so we were just, we were completely shocked, right? At first we were like, this isn't true. Just close the email, just delete it, right? It can't possibly be real. But sure enough, it ended up being true. And she wrote stage themes for Plague Knight and for Treasure Knight. And then, one of the most special parts is that after that, every boss in the game, when you get to them, they have a unique theme, a unique, stage theme for the boss. And so Jake wrote a boss version of Manami's songs, for that, and so it's like a combination of the two, and those are some of my favorite tracks in the game.
I can totally understand that. So, you have these mini boss again?
Yeah, this one a little bit different, a little bit more difficult. Yeah. There's a pit here, so yeah, you're just gonna have to be careful. This guy, if you just wait, he'll fall off. And then like a single block jump, a frightening leap to a ladder. These are all things that you end up doing in the game much more at a much more difficult level. But here, we're starting you out kind of simply. This is here to teach you that if you're pressing down, that you start swinging your shovel wildly because you want this gem, and you realize, oh, when I'm doing my down thrust, I can press the shovel button, and it'll take me back to normal. And there are also some blobs hidden in the grass here.
So if we look at the upper left corner, we see there's the word item and the number 70. What does that mean?
Well, this is your relic. So the number that you see there is your magic meter, essentially, and as you fight enemies, more magic will drop occasionally. But you can use this item in, well, pretty much whenever you want, and there are multiple items in the game. This one is it's the flare wand, and when you use it, it shoots a fireball across the screen. You can imagine this would be very useful for a Shovel Knight whose range is pathetically short.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are many different relics, and each of them let you kind of adjust your gameplay in a different way, right? It's sort of like how in Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, or sorry, in Mega Man 2, you had item 1, 2, and 3, and each one of them served a different purpose, right? Item 1 was like a balloon that would rise, item 2 was a jet that would shoot across, and item 3 would climb up a wall, you know, or same thing in Castlevania. Different weapons are used in different ways, right? You have the axe, which will have a very high arc, and it's helpful for defeating enemies above you. You have the cross that does a lot of damage in a swath like this. You know, you have the stopwatch that would stop all the enemies, but only momentarily. Each one was useful in a different spot, but then you could kind of tailor your gameplay to how you want. So we wanted to do something similar with this. Anyway, now we'll fight the Black Knight.
So you also got a story in here.
Yes, yeah. So the basic story is that Shovel Knight and his partner Shield Knight were wonderful adventurers throughout the land. They were the best at earning treasure. They were the ultimate. But then maybe they bit off a little bit too much, you know, a little bit more than they could chew. And Shield Knight ended up falling in the Tower of Fate and was separated with an undetermined fate. So Shovel Knight, completely lost in sorrow, decides to give up and goes and lives a life of solitude. But then out of nowhere comes this villainous group called the Order of No Quarter, and they're led by the Enchantress, you know, who's a super evil sorceress that's extremely powerful. I mean, here we're telling it all here. So Shovel Knight decides to pick up that shovel and take out this evil, you know, kind of one last time.
So you got this little deep story, but it's also the humor that really stands out.
Yes, of course. I mean, the game, well, you know, we wanted it to be a game that was fun, and we wanted it to be a game that's funny sometimes and sad sometimes, and you know, that has adventure and has excitement. You know, it's it's like life. Oh, so this is the Black Knight. He's my rival.
So he's also using a shovel.
Yeah, he also shovels. He's very similar looking to me. He has this jerk laugh. Ugh. Yeah, you can shovel his own fireball back at him, and you know, we really like this because it's like, I don't know, it's almost like you're fighting another player. I can use my fireball here too.
It reminds me a little bit of Shadow Link, actually.
Yeah?
Having your own darker version.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, a little bit like a Dark Link, a little bit like, well, you know, the Black Knight is it's a pretty tropey thing, but we wanted to have our own version of it for sure.
Yeah, and it definitely is.
Yeah. Oh, so this is actually the demo version of the game. So on the show floor, you know, we made this specifically for the show floor where there's the Hall of Honor, and now every player that plays, your score is displayed here because, you know, when you're at a convention, you're not going to be able to purchase all the relics and all of that, you know. So we'll go ahead and do the more difficult stage after this too.
Oh,
yeah, Spectre Knight stage.
So we could just talk about the overworld.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so this is the overworld. This overworld is made specifically for the demo version of the game, but also in the full version of the game, there are many elements here. So that, you know, this is a stage I can play. This is another stage I can play. It looks like there's a village off in the distance here. There are these locked doors that when I defeat the boss, they'll unlock. And then, you know, you can see over to the right, there's this cloud cover that's obscuring, you know, what could be a much larger part of the map. So yeah, you can navigate around a little bit. You can play the stages in the order that you desire, and I think it makes it a little bit more fun than just having a bunch of levels that you're going through or selecting the boss from a menu or something like that. So here we go into Spectre Knight stage. This one, it looks especially good on the 3DS. The layering in stereoscopy just looks fantastic.
Really excited to see that.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely show it to you.
So you've got new elements here.
Yeah. So basically everything, you know, once again, we're trying to teach through learning. You can walk by this thing, but if you hit it, then it gets knocked up in the air. If you try to down thrust on it, then you do a little bounce. But, you know, you kind of combine the two, right? I can't get up here, but if I knock this, and then use it, then I can get it. Nice. You have these frogs that if they're sleeping, and if you don't disturb them, then they'll just stay as they are. But, you know, once again, if you want the gems, then you have to take them all out. We have some gravestones that you can bounce on, and sometimes ghosts will appear, and these ghosts cannot be defeated. So it's like we're just introducing you to these few things right now, and then here's the test, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, this will be on the test. So you can't jump up here. You have to do this, and we'll teach you later on how to do all of these things again, and we'll make you do it in a more difficult situation. And once again, here we're putting these levels in, or we're putting these secrets in front of you that you have to hit. But if you kind of hit them in the wrong order, then you could possibly miss this treasure chest, or you uncover some enemies. You know, it's just all about it's about the fun of discovery and the mystery, right? Because you're Shovel Knight and you can only do a couple of things, you start thinking about, well, since all I can do is jump, shovel, and bounce on something. There we go, nice. So if all I can do are those few things, then you just start thinking, well, you know, what can I do to everything in the world? And it becomes, you can start having an idea of what it could be, right? You could begin to intuit what the gameplay might be like and what the object might do. And then it's especially fun because we can turn it on its head and subvert your expectations in all sorts of ways.
Yes. So we see there are also save points.
Oh, yes.
So we don't have to completely...
Right, yeah, so I'd like to talk a little bit about these checkpoints. This is the demo version, so the game, so I can't break them, but in the full version of the game, these checkpoints are filled with treasure, and so, well, you can break them, but if you break them, then it will no longer be a checkpoint. This is the super skeleton. He's my favorite.
He was very different than the dragon.
Yeah. He's not so tough. He drops a turkey, too.
So let's talk a little bit about what happens when you die. You not only get back to the checkpoint.
Yeah, that's right. When you die, you lose 1/4 of your gold, and it ends up in bags wherever you died. So you end up out your money. But if you can get back to the spot that you were at previously, then you could recover it. Of course, if you die again on your way, then the money will no longer be recoverable. So once again, we don't have a life system. You can keep trying as many times as you want. There are plenty of checkpoints, but you still have to do very discrete sections of challenge. And then for the players that are really interested in doing something difficult, then they can try to break all of the checkpoints in the entire game and go for the highest score possible. But if you die, then you go all the way back. Go all the way back. It creates so much tension, you know, and
especially hard if you die when you're just at a boss battle.
Yes, yeah.
You have to do everything.
Yes, and so you know, the game has been released in the United States on the 3DS and on the Wii U, and so we have players, you know, doing Let's Plays, and we're watching videos of people. And this is like one of my favorite parts, right? With the silhouette area, you can't see what's happening, and then it's like, you know, you just have to, you freeze up because it's so tense.
Yeah, it was, I did it on my first try.
Wow.
But then I died here.
No.
And I got back to the checkpoint and I thought, okay, I could do it. And I think, well, in my second try I died like 4 times. Oh. But I just wanted to finish that section.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What a pity.
But it was so intense, like I said. It was
right.
so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes me so happy. Just hearing the reactions of people that have been playing the game and you know, talking with everyone about their excitement and their fervor has been so incredible. You know, we've been working on this game in a hole, you know, for 16 months, and so we didn't know, you know, how was the reaction going to be? What are people going to think? You know, what is it going to be all about? And fortunately, the reactions have been just wonderful and glowing, and you know, we've received overwhelmingly positive reviews. I mean, you yourself, you know, said you were a huge Shovel Knight fan, and that kind of stuff is just, I mean, that's why we do it. So you know, thank you for playing the game, and
thank you for making that game.
Yes, you're so welcome. Isn't it great when we can all do things like this?
Yes.
It's a bomb. So.
Okay. Here we don't have much time left.
Okay.
Only 5 minutes.
Okay, then I'll see if I can get to the boss as quickly as possible. I could probably get to Spectre Knight and beat him in 5 minutes.
We've also got some basic question. Maybe we can talk to you a little bit about them.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. How long was the game development again? It was 16 months.
Yeah, it was about 16 months.
Yeah, and it all started on Kickstarter.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, we had been in development for a little bit just so we could get our Kickstarter demo together, The way that we promoted the Kickstarter was we went to PAX and we did PAX East and we showed the game off, but we wanted to have a demo that was playable on the show floor for people. So we made a 1-level demo that described all of our gameplay and put it in front of everyone. And so that's kind of how we got started. But it was it wasn't very far along at that point. Pretty much what you saw at the show, that was all there was.
And you're releasing this for Nintendo Wii and 3DS.
That's correct.
How was your work with Nintendo?
Oh, I mean, it was fantastic. We worked with NOA, in the United States, to work on everything, and they helped from marketing to flying us out to places to do interviews, to always having a spot for us at whatever show we're going to. They were just excellent, and they basically roped us into their whole ecosystem, and we were just along with all the other Nintendo games. It was incredible. Yeah, and then on top of that, when the game finally came out in the eShop, they did a little eShop takeover, and so where it said new games, Shovel Knight was there, and then where it said upcoming releases, it was a little Enchantress was there, and then coming soon or whatever, there's another little character. So it was like that almost for an entire week. It was all Shovel Knight related, and so I mean that was. It was above and beyond what we ever thought that Nintendo would do for us. But we've seen it be great and wonderfully successful. So I think we have a Nintendo to thank for a lot of that. I'm just whooping Spectre Knight's butt.
And if it's not too stressful for you, it just got 2 last questions.
Yeah, sure.
The price when it comes out in Europe.
You know what? I can't exactly be sure of that, but whatever the equivalent basically is of $14.99 United States dollars is what it would be. We want to try to keep the price parity to just be normal with whatever it would be in every territory. Yeah.
And maybe the question you heard a lot when you were here in Germany. When can we expect this game? I saw you did a little graphic.
Yes.
With the save points,
yes.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, first off, I'm terribly sorry that the game didn't come out at the same time in all territories. We've really been working hard, but we just didn't anticipate the localization and ratings and issues that cropped up. But the good news is that we're going to be submitting probably this coming Monday, and Shovel Knight should be out in mid to late September.
That's great news. I'm really looking forward to play this again on my Wii U and on my 3DS.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and we'll have to show you the 3DS version too, because the 3D is just, it's mind-blowing, yeah.
I heard of it. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you. It was a pleasure.